This is Revelations 10 and 10. And I took the little book out of the angel's hand and ate it up, and it was in my mouth sweet as honey. And as soon as I had eaten it, my belly was bitter. I'd like to start off by saying, Barakatah Yahawah, Barakatah Yahawashi, Kol Haloyim La Yahawah, Bahashem Yahawashi, Bahashem, Rachakodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who rule well. Blessings and salutations to the hopeful elect that scattered abroad. The Akim and the Aquath that's listening in. Yahweh Ratazah, Lord willing that the lesson is edifying. It's the brother Shawab Amawan back at you with another lesson. And going into the title, all right, got soil. Which one? Bitter versus sweet, part 1. All right. And the inspiration came from I was having a conversation with the Rib, and that's pretty much how this lesson came about. And I figure I'd do it in a couple of parts. I don't know how many parts. All right, but this is definitely part 1. Got a couple precepts, and I'll try to keep it short. All right. And me and the Rib was just chopping it up on, how, it's a bittersweet thing coming to this truth, basically. And I was explaining it to her because, she's still new, been in the truth for 2 years, but I still newbie, and, I was pretty much explaining how things work out in this truth and, comforting her, because she's still going through a rough time of what happened with me and her with the little one, passing and all that. But, through these words, we comfort one another at the end of the day, as the scriptures say. So, I had to comfort her. And, she was just going back on things that, in the beginning, how she thought I was crazy. And, she seen how bitter things got once I gave her this word. And, not to make it a long story about us or anything like that. That's pretty much how the whole conversation came about. And they gave me the inspiration to make a video on it. All right. And it's just to, remind, anybody coming into this truth, what you're really being involved with. As the scriptures say, you have to count the cost of what you're being involved with at the end of the day. All right. Because it's a bittersweet thing, and when you come into this truth, you're pretty much in it for life. Once you receive this word. All right. And you have to endure all the way to the end. Okay. And, beautiful things happen, but more than anything, bitter things happen the most. All right. As the scriptures tell you, there was written there in lamentations, mournings, and woes. There's nothing, nothing beautiful as much as we think in this truth, man. A lot of bitterness comes. All right. The sweet is coming in, knowing that you're an Israelite, knowing salvation is for you. All right. But as the scriptures say, my soul, my son, prepare thy soul for temptation. All right. When you come into this truth, basically. All right. As a matter of fact, let me grab that real quick. All right. And you have to learn how to eat the whole roll. Okay. As a matter of fact, let's grab that one first. And then I'll grab that other one. All right. Preparing thy soul for temptation, which is in Ecclesiasticus 2 and 1. I'll take that one first, actually, since I brought it up. It says, my son, if thou come to serve the Lord Yahweh, Bahashem Yahawashi, prepare thy soul for temptation. Set thy heart aright and constantly endure, and make not haste in the time of trouble. Cleave unto him and depart not away, that thou mayest be increased at thy last end. Whatsoever is brought upon thee, take it cheerfully, and be patient when thou art changed to a low estate. For gold is tried in the fire, and acceptable men in the furnace of adversity. You see, so when you come into this truth, all right, you have to prepare your soul for the things that's going to come with it. All right. As the scriptures tell you, when you depart from evil, you make yourself a prey to the world and to these demons. All right. And they're going to try to make you go back, all right, into the world. All right. And this is why you have to eat the whole roll. Okay. Let's grab Ezekiel. Salakia. This is Ezekiel 2, Salakia 3 and 1. And it says, moreover, he said unto me, son of man, eat that thou findest, eat this roll, and go speak unto the house of Israel. So I opened my mouth, and he caused me to eat that roll. And he said unto me, son of man, cause thy belly to eat, and fill thy bowels with this roll that I give thee. Then did I eat it, and it was in my mouth as sweet as honey for sweetness. Okay, let's grab this. This is Proverbs 25 and 16. And it says, hast thou found honey? Eat so much as is sufficient for thee, lest thou be filled therewith and vomited. All right. And you have to learn how to, take in the basics first, be weaned from the milk. All right. Being weaned from the breast, you see, because too much, all right, all at once can make you vomit, can make you run away from this truth. It can scare you, you see, because as much as you get this, as fast as you get this truth, all right, is as fast as Satan comes to try to take the word away from you, you see? And that's what you have to prepare your soul for, preparing your soul for temptation, all right, preparing your soul that wisdom meets you in your thoughts. Let's grab that real quick, all right? Wisdom meets you in your thoughts, KJV, all right? This is Wisdom of Solomon 6 and 16, and it says, I'll take it from 15. To think therefore upon her is perfection of wisdom, and whoso watcheth for her shall quickly be without care. For she goeth about seeking such as are worthy of her, showing herself favorably unto them in the ways, and meeteth them and meeteth them in every thought. You see? So, you have to make sure that you walk in wisdom, all right, and that in every thought that you do, all right, that you have, all right, wisdom is meeting you in those thoughts, you see? And again, when you come into this truth, all right, it's a bittersweet thing, and you have to count the cost, all right, knowing what you're involved with, because this is dead ass serious. This is something, as brothers say in the Passover, it's a solemn assembly. Well, this truth is always a solemn assembly, all right, because it's something serious with YAHAWAH'S. You see, you have to observe the situation, right? You have to examine yourself every day, whether you be in the faith, okay? But you have to observe the situation and be careful, because it concerns your soul. It's a matter of life and death when it comes to this truth, you see? So, Salakia, I lost my train of thought on that. The Lord willing to come back to me, all right? But this is what I do want to get into. All right, let's get into Matthew 13. And let's grab it from 3. And it says, and he spake many things unto them in parables, saying, behold, a sower went forth to sow. And when he saw, oh, that's what I wanted. Salakia, the water Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. This is Luke 14, and then I'll get back to that. All right, Luke 14 and where is it at? Give me 1 second. This is Luke 14 and 28. For which of you intended to build a tower, sitteth not down first and counteth the cost, whether he have sufficient to finish it? lest haply after he has laid the foundation that is not able to fit and is not able to finish it, all that behold it begin to mock him, saying, this man began to build and was not able to finish. You see? So when you come into this truth, you have to count the cost again, because this is something serious, a matter between life and death. Okay. You have to have wisdom in all your thoughts, and everything has to be according to scripture to the best of your ability, you see, and always walking in the spirit and making no provision for the flesh, you see. So Matthew 13:3 says, and he spake many things unto them in parables, saying, behold, a sower went forth to sow. And when he sowed, some seeds fell by the wayside, and the fowls came and devoured them up. Some fell upon stony places where they had not much earth, and forthwith they sprung up, because they had no deepness of earth. And when the sun was up, they were scorched, and because and because they had no roots, they withered away. And some fell among thorns, and the thorns sprang up and choked them. But others fell into good ground and brought forth fruit, some 100-fold, some 60-fold, some 30-fold. Who has ears to hear, let him hear. You see? And that is the parable of the sower, you see? And that's why I put as the title of this lesson, got soil. And if you do, which one? You see? Which soil are you at the end of the day? All right? Because going into these different soils is going into different levels in this truth, man. All right? Which when you go into Mark, the 4th chapter, all right, it breaks it down even better. Okay? And it tells you right here. It says parable of the sower and soils. And he began again to teach by the seaside, and there was gathered unto him a great multitude, so that he entered into a ship and sat in the sea. And the whole multitude was by the sea on the land, and he taught them many things by parables, and said unto them in his doctrine, hearken, behold, there went out a sower. Okay, as a matter of fact, let's jump down, okay, because we just read that in Matthew, but now it's going to explain to you what the explanation was of that sower. So Mark 4:13 says, and he said unto them, know ye not this parable? And how then will ye know all parables? The sower soweth the word. Okay. And what's a sower? A farmer. Okay. So who's the farmer? YAHAWAH'S. You see, he sows the seed into you with this word by giving you this truth, opening your eyes to it. Okay. And then it says, and these are they by the wayside. So now it's explaining the first level, okay, of the soils. It says, where the word is sown, Salakia. It says, and these are they by the wayside where the word is sown. But when they have heard, Satan cometh immediately and taketh away the word that was sown in their hearts. So that's the first part that you have to battle and conquer. You see, that's the first part that you're tested in when you come into this truth. All right. As fast as you receive this word, all right, is as fast as Satan is going to try to take you away from the word. And it could be in many different angles. All right. Someone could be talking to you. I could be talking to a brother trying to preach this word to him. And then out of nowhere, distraction comes right away. You know, you might catch a phone call, somebody pull up and start, hey, what's up, bro? You know, start sidetracking you from actually listening to the word. And then you know what happens? You just go about your day and you forget about it. You see? So as fast as you got it, it's as fast as he came and he took it away from you. Right? It says, and these are they likewise which are sown on stony ground. Now, this is the second level. All right. If you're able to conquer that first level and continue, this is the second level that's brought upon you. Again, as we read, right, in Ecclesiastes 2:1. All right. My son, prepare thy soul for temptation. All right. when you come to hear the word of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, right? One that departs from evil makes himself a prey, right? It says, and these are they likewise which are sown on stony ground, who, when they have heard the word, immediately receive it with gladness and have no root in themselves. And so endure for a time afterward when affliction or persecution ariseth for the word's sake, immediately they are offended. All right. So the second part, all right, now is that they receive the word, all right, and they receive it with gladness. Okay. That's that bittersweet. In the beginning is sweet, but immediately it turns bitter. You see, because it's sweet to know that you're an Israelite. It's sweet to know, hey, so-called white man is the devil. It's sweet to know that salvation is preached onto you and that there's hope for you to be in the kingdom, you see, and that you're an Israelite and going to make the kingdom regardless, okay? But it comes with a bitterness right after it that can turn your stomach, you see? And if you're not rooted and grounded, established in the faith as you're supposed to be, all right, and built on that rock solid foundation, all right, what happens is you'll fall, you see, when persecution comes, because persecution is going to come to you, man. All right. What's the other one that said? When affliction comes, you see, all these trials and tribulations, you see. Let's go back to Matthew 13 real quick. I mean, Matthew 7. Okay. This is Matthew 7 and 24. It says the two foundations. Therefore, whosoever heareth these sayings of mine and does them, I will liken him unto a wise man, which built his house upon a rock. And when the rain descended and the floods came and the winds blew and beat upon that house, it fell not, for it was founded upon a rock. You see, and that rock is what? Yahweh Shai. You see, you have to build your foundation on Yahweh Shai, okay? Because that is a sure foundation, you see? A sure foundation that's going to keep you sealed in this truth. But if you don't believe, you draw back, all right? Without faith, it's impossible to please him, right? Any man that draweth back, the Lord has no, let's grab that one real quick. If you draw back, all right, Hebrews 10 and 38, now the just shall live by faith, but if any man draw back, my soul have no pleasure in him, you see? So the Lord is going to find no pleasure in you if you draw him back, if you're wavering in the faith. Nothing that you do in this truth should be wavering, man. You should always believe with all your heart, all right, that you're going to receive these things, okay? The Lord had commanded us to do that, right? So going back, it says 26, and every one that heareth these sayings of mine and does them not shall be likened unto a foolish man which built his house upon the sand. And the rain descended and the floods came and the wind blew and beat upon that house, and it fell, and great was the fall of it. You see, that rain, that flood that descended, the floods, the winds that blew, the beating upon the house. See, that's the trials and tribulations, man. The persecution that you go through in this truth, the bitterness of this truth, you see. But if you can withstand those things, if you can stand to those things, all right, that shows that your house is built on Yahweh Shai, you see, because you're unmovable. You're being steadfast and unmovable in the face. I mean, in the face, in the faith, you see. So nothing is making you budge. And that's what you want. That's what Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai wants from you, man, is to not budge, not to be offended when the word comes and persecutes you and gives you the affliction, you see, because he's looking for men, all right? He's looking for strong men that can endure these things. And he also looking for a strong woman, not in the sense of, you know, muscular, all right, but a strong woman in the mind that's also rooted and grounded, you see, that has only fear towards Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai and understands her duties, okay? So let's go back to Matthew Nope, Slovakia. Back to Mark 4, and finish that up, right? It says, I'll read that one more time, and it says, and what was I? Hold on, I was just reading something real quick at the top. Yeah. All right. So going back down to 16, it says, and these are they likewise which are sown on stony ground, who, when they have heard the word, immediately receive it with gladness. All right. So when you go up again, all right, let's see what that part was, that part of the soil. That was the stony ground. It says in verse 5, and some fell on the stony ground where it had not much earth, and immediately it sprang up because it had no depth of the earth. And when the sun was up, it was scorched, and because it had no roots, it withered away. You see, and some fell among the thorns, and the thorns grew up and choked it, and it yielded no fruit. You see, so that's explaining down here, all right, what that stony ground was. Okay, the stony ground is they received the word with gladness, right? But because they have no root, they're not what? They're not rooted and grounded in that rock solid foundation yet, right? It says, and they have no root in themselves, and so endure for a time. Afterward, when afflictions or persecution ariseth for the word's sake, immediately they are offended. You see, so they went from being glad to receiving the truth, right, to actually being offended when they got smacked with the things that come with it. All right, because this thing ain't easy, man. If it was easy, everybody would do it. We'd be in the kingdom already, you see. But as the scriptures say, many are called and few are chosen. All right. So this is only for the strong that can survive. You see, only the strong survive in this thing, man. And those that endure to the end, the saints shall be saved. Those that can endure the afflictions and the things that come with it show what type of soil you're carrying, because you're always growing in this truth. The moment you become stagnant, the moment you become idle, all right, now the word is taken away from you. That gladness turns into sadness, and this sadness turns into what? Being offended by the word. Now you hate this truth. Now you don't even want to deal with nothing what the Lord has to offer you. You see? But it's very well needed, because that's what continues to make you grow in this truth. Okay? Is having the trials and the tribulations, the patience, the sufferings. You see? That teaches you experience. When you experience things, okay, you learn how to deal with them. And the Lord makes you go through these experiences. So when the time comes of Jacob's trouble, when the time gets real rough out here, you see, you've been beaten and battered upon, and you're able to deal with it. You're able to continue to fight through the spirit, all right, and continue to seek the Lord and attend to the Lord without distraction, you see? And that's what he loves. All right. As the scriptures tell you in Wisdom of Solomon, the 7th chapter, all right, I believe it's like around verse 27, that the Lord loveth none but those that dwell with wisdom. You got damn water. You got Satan trying to choke me up over here. I believe I don't got one. Right. So continuing on, right, it says, and these are they which are sown among thorns, such as hear the word, and the cares of this life, all right, the cares of the world, and the deceitfulness of riches, and the lust of other things enter in, choke the word, and it become unfruitful. You see? So you just went through 2 levels of soil. If you can conquer those 2 levels of soil, all right, here comes the 3rd level of it. You going through things that you desire the most are going to be taken away. The things that you love the most are going to be taken away. You see? And the scriptures say, think it not strange, right? Let's grab that. All right. The fiery trial, which is to what? To try you. All right. This is First Peter's 4:12. And it says, beloved, it says, share the sufferings of Hamashiach, showing you that we have to suffer. This is the bitter part of it. You see, it says, beloved, think it not strange concerning the fiery trial, which is to try you as though some strange thing happened to you. But rejoice, and as much as ye are partakers of Hamashiach's sufferings, that when his glory shall be revealed, you may be glad also with exceeding joy. You see? And the things that we go through on this side is nothing to be compared to what we're going to receive, right? This is Romans 8:18. And it says, and I reckon that the sufferings of this present time are not worthy to be compared with the glory which shall be revealed in us. Okay? So, hey, the trials you go through is just the trial of your faith, man. Every unfortunate situation you go through is a test of your faith, you see? But it's not even close to be compared to what we're about to receive on this other side, man, in the kingdom. All right? Perfection, you know, total wisdom of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, you see, being the first fruits of labor, you know, as a man, you know, being able to sit down with Yahweh Shai, sip something with him, you know, being able to watch him conquer over this place, and then him allowing you to conquer with him, you know, and then we get the best gift of all time, man, a crown of life, of immortality, you see, where you ain't got to worry about death, crying, pain, tears no more. You see, that's something worthy to have, because it's better than it beats anything on this side. You see, so you have no choice really but to endure these things, man. You just got to take it with ease. Okay, this is a race. You have to be balanced in this race. You see, because you try to run out the race all at once, you're gonna get too tired. You're gonna tire yourself out, wear yourself out. You know, now if you run too slow, you become too slothful. You know, much idleness teaches what? Wickedness, teaches evil. You see, so you have to remain balanced in this thing. Okay, so let's go back to, all right, back to 18. It says, and these are they which are sown among thorns, such as hear the word, and the cares of this world, and the deceitfulness of riches, and the lust of other things enter in and choke the word. You see, and it makes you what? Unfruitful. Okay. Matter of fact, let me grab this. This is James 1:2. My brethren, count it all joy when you fall into diverse temptations. Why? Because it shows that Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai is dealing with you. You see? So you have to take it with joy. Because these things are what? Nothing but a light affliction. All right? This is 2 Corinthians 4:17. For our light affliction, which is but for a moment, worketh for us a far more exceeding and eternal weight of glory. You see? It says, while we look not at the things which are seen, but at the things which are not seen. For the things which are seen are temporal, but the things which are not are eternal. You see? So you have to set your affections on the things above, man. Okay? Walk in the spirit and not in the flesh. You see? For he that walk in the flesh, all right, you're walking in death, basically. Okay? He that is carnal minded, as the scriptures say, is enmity unto the Lord. Romans 8 or 7, one of them two chapters. All right? It's enmity to the Lord. So let's continue on. All right. James 1 and 2. My brethren, count it all joy when ye fall into the diverse temptations, knowing this, that the trying of your faith worketh patience. But let patience have her perfect work, that ye may be perfect and entire, wanting nothing. If any of you lack wisdom, let him ask of Yahweh, that giveth to all men liberally, and upbraideth not, and it shall be given him. But let him ask in faith, nothing wavering. For he that wavereth is like a wave of the sea, driven with the wind and tossed. You see? It says, let no man think that he shall receive anything of the Lord Yahweh Shai. A double-minded mind is unstable in all his ways. Okay? So we have to learn to, take those things that come our way, take it with joy, okay, and conquer it at the end of the day. Scriptures say be mad, all right, but how's it go? Be mad, but don't sin, all right. How's it go? Give me a second. Be angry and sin not. I think that's how it goes. Be angry and sin not, KJV. Khan, the water Yahweh. This is Ephesians 4 and 26. Be angry and sin not. Let not the sun go down upon your wrath. Okay, neither give place to the devil. Let him, as a matter of fact, that's the point. Neither give place to the devil. Yeah, because you make yourself weak-minded, man. And the devil, all right, is seeking whom he may devour, which the devil is what? Your adversary, whether it be the world, whether it be Esau and these other nations, or whether it be spiritual counter Satan, man. You see? Gotta turn that car off. All right. So you don't give place for the devil, man. All right. Let's go to jump from James 1 to 12, right? 1 and 12. It says, blessed is the man that endureth temptation, for when he is tried, he shall receive the crown of life, which the Lord Yahweh Shai has promised to them that love him. Okay. So you have to endure these temptations, man, these tests. Okay. Because you're going to receive a crown of life for it. All right. It says, let no man say when he is tempted, I am tempted of Yahweh, for Yahweh cannot be tempted with evil, neither tempteth he any man. But every man is tempted when he is drawn away of his own lust and enticed. Then when lust has conceived, it bringeth forth sin, and sin, when it is finished, bringeth forth death. You see, the wages of sin is death, and that's why we have to endure, man. We have to, whether it be bitter or sweet, man, put your all into it, man, because Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai is seeking for those that do that. You see, he has pleasure in those that do that. All right. Now let's go back to Mark 4 and finish it off. Okay. Again, 18, it says, and these are they which are sown among thorns, such as hear the word, and the cares of this world, okay, the things you love the most are going to be taken away from you, man, whether it be your children, your wife, or your husband, okay, your family members. It could be your job, anything, man. Whatever you love the more before you came into this truth, all right, the Lord gonna snatch it away from you, man, just to test you in your faith. All right. The deceitfulness of riches, okay, and the lust of other things enter in. The things you lust after the most, it sometimes just doesn't work in our favor, plain and simple. But it doesn't mean that you quit, all right, because it tells you that let me grab that real quick in Ecclesiasticus, all right, 2, and it says, where's it at? Give me 1 second. It's definitely in this chapter. Oh, 3. It says, cleave unto him and depart not away, that thou mayest be increased, okay, at that last end. And above it, it says constantly endure and make not haste in the time of trouble, meaning don't quit, don't give up, okay? When you go down to 12, it says, woe be unto them, fearful hearts and faint hands, and the sinner that goeth 2 ways. Woe unto him that is faint hearted, for he believeth not, therefore shall he not be defended. You see, you can't lose patience in this truth, man, because now you're in trouble. Now you're in trouble. Okay, you drew back and you're not fit for the kingdom. Okay, so let's finish that up and I'll close it out. All right, it says, and the cares of this world and the deceitfulness of riches and the lust of the other things enter in, choke the word, and it become unfruitful. And these are they which are sown on good ground. See, now you just went through 3 different levels of soil. This is the soil that you want to carry, man. The good ground, where you have room to grow and always have room to grow. Why? Because you're constantly watering your garden bed. You're constantly watering yourself with this truth, which this truth is referred to as that water, right? Because out of his belly shall flow rivers of living water. So you have to keep yourself in the word, keep your candle burning, feeding it with oil, all right? And you'll constantly grow. You'll be broken down to be built back up again. You'll be broken down to be built back up again. You see, when you are weak is when you are strong. That's when you're the strongest in this truth, man, because that's the Lord getting your attention when you're at your weakest point and you have nothing better to do but to turn to Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai to be strengthened. You see? So it says, and these are they which are sown in good ground, which is that good soil, such as hear the word and receive it and bring it forth fruit, some 30-fold, some 60, and some 100-fold. You see? So again, coming into this truth, you have to know which soil what soil are you? What soil, what level are you going to conquer? Are you going to conquer all of them? All right. And remain that good soil, or are you just going to fall off the first one you see, the first level, the second level. Okay. A lot of people make it to that second level, man. And that's where they fall off. They get offended by the word, man, when these persecutions and afflictions come, you know? And a lot of people also make it to that third one, and that's where they really fall off. You see, because that's where the heat is on. That's when the furnace of adversity gets turned up, when you get the things that you love the most snatched away from you, man, and it hurts, okay? But you can't give up on Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. You have to always remember Yahweh Shai is there, all right, praying for you, man. Praying that you make it through that. And what better is that, man, that you actually have the creator of all things, man, praying right behind you. You see, trying to give you that push to make it over to make it to the end, He that endured to the end, the same shall be saved. All right. So it's important that you make sure that you're on good ground, built on a rock solid foundation, all right, rooted and grounded in this truth. Let's end it with that. All right. This is Colossians, all right, 2 and 6, and it says, as ye have therefore received Yahweh Shai HaMashiach the Lord, so walk ye in him, rooted and built up in him, established in the faith as you have been taught, abounding therein with thanksgiving. You see, you want to remain rooted and grounded at all times. All right, nothing is better than that, because that shows that you have that rock solid foundation. Okay, and I got one more for you. This is Psalms 1 and 1. Blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor stand in the way of sinners, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful. But his delight is in the law of the Lord Yahweh, and his law does he meditate day and night. And he shall be planted like a tree by the rivers of water, that bringeth forth his fruit in his season. His leaf also shall not wither, and whatsoever he does shall prosper. You see, the ungodly are not so, but are like the chaff which the wind driveth away. Therefore, the ungodly shall not stand in the judgment, nor sinners in the congregation of the righteous. For the Lord Yahweh knoweth the way of the righteous, but the way of the ungodly shall perish. So, Lord willing that you were edified. So, with that being said, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Kol Haloyim La Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rachakodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who rule well. Blessings and salutations to the hopeful elect that scattered abroad, the Akim and the Aquat that was listening in. Yahweh Ratazah, Lord willing that the lesson was edifying. To the next one, Shalom.